So today I'm going to talk about one of the most overlooked assets in the real estate wholesaling business. Now, before I tell you what that is, I want you to kind of think about what most people think about when they think about assets. Most people think about owning a rental property, right? A single family house that they will hold and rent out for the long term, or maybe an apartment building or a mobile home park, or maybe it's a business that throws off cash month after month after month. And those are assets, right? I love a good piece of real estate that throws off cash flow. But if you think about the cash flow that a real estate asset is going to spit off, specifically, let's say a single family home that rents out for $2,000 a month, you're going to have some expenses associated with that. You're going to have vacancy, repairs, taxes, insurance. You're going to have capital improvements. And so, a house that you rent out for $2,000 a month may only net you $1,000 a month if you own it free and clear. If you've got debt against it, right, you're going to have a loan payment that you may only be netting a few hundred. And again, I've got no problem with this. I love actually holding mobile home parks. They cash flow a ton of money. But the asset that most wholesalers are overlooking is actually way more impactful. And this asset that I'm going to share with you today has made me pretty much more money than anything in my wholesaling business. And that is your database. Okay, your database has so much money sitting in it right now. If you've been in this business for any length of time, right? If you've been marketing and let's say you've been doing direct mail, or you've been buying leads off the internet, or you've been cold calling and saving up leads or texting, man, you have so much money locked away in that list of sellers just sitting there. And right now there's a motivated seller in there just waiting to be called that says, hey, I know we spoke a few months ago. You weren't interested in selling your house when we spoke. Has anything changed? And the majority of people in there, nothing's changed in their lives. But for a small portion of people, man, oh man, you are the right person to call at just the right time. And I always love doing these videos a couple of times throughout the year, because a couple of times a year, we always get hit with a phenomenal deal in our database. So for us, actually, this morning, we had a meeting, and we always review our leads once a week. And today we said, hey, we got a hot lead that came out of the database, and this one looks like it could be six figures. And I got to tell you, it happens to us several times a year, right? $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 that you just extract out of your database. And so I'm going to talk about how you should follow up with your database and the right way to do that. But I got to tell you, it's the most important asset that you have, because month after month after month, if you are marketing in this business, and by the way, that is step one, you've got to market month after month after month after month. That is the lifeblood of your business, and that lists and that name of sellers will start to compound, and it will start to grow. And every single month, it'll bring a consistency to your business that most wholesalers just don't have, because they operate as amateurs. Okay, for us today, this deal that one of our acquisition specialists locked up, it's a smoking lead. Hopefully it's going to be six figures. And I just want you to think about what's in your database, right? Again, that's someone who called who maybe wasn't interested in selling to you any kind of discount before, but something has changed. So rule number one is you always have to be marketing. You always have to be marketing and bringing in sellers and building up that database, okay? That is probably the smartest thing that you can do in your business. Some deals will close right away. I hope they do. But I got to tell you, the majority won't. And so it's really, really important, again, to store those names. So number one is you want to market. Number two is that you need a place where you're going to hold on to those leads, right? So they shouldn't be sitting in your email somewhere. I always recommend a CRM. It's an absolute necessity. If you want to know the one that we like to use, check out nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/CRM, nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/CRM. We've partnered with a company to help you do that. But I'm going to recommend a couple of things that you should do now to follow up, okay? So the first thing, that if you're generating the leads, you got a place to store them. The first thing that you should be doing is texting your database on a regular basis. Okay. And so I recommend like an autoresponder or drip. And so there's a lot of ways that you can do that. If you had to, you can manually text somebody from your cell phone. That is the, quote unquote free way, and the least, well, it costs the least upfront way. It'll actually cost you a lot more if you're doing it manually later down the line, if you consider your time into that. But you could do it right now for free. And so you want to text people manually. So that's a way that you could do it. The other way that you could do it, and please check with your attorney first, is use one of the mass texting services. And if that's legal in your state, then you could just take your entire database, export it, and then just text people using one of the mass texting services. Or the third is you could use a drip autoresponder. So I just mentioned the CRM that we're partnered with, and we're actually partnered with FreedomSoft. Whereas if you have a lead and you put it in the database, it will follow up every single month, month after month after month after month, for people who you previously thought were kind of dead leads, right? And now it's not going to require your energy or your motivation or your knowledge of that person's motivation. It's going to hit them month after month after month after month. And that is my recommended method. So I highly recommend that you do that. So check out nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/CRM. That's our custom link, affiliate link for FreedomSoft. The next thing that you should do is you should be calling your database every single month. So one of the things that we do is we separate our leads by month, right? And you could do this any number of ways, but we have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. And we actually have buckets of people who we call in January and February, March, and April. So that way, everybody in the database is being followed up with, right? You could do it using tasks and just set task reminders for yourself. But I highly recommend if you can't, if you can't call everybody one by one, right? You can also use like a cold caller dialer. But again, you have to have a system to following up with people. And so this lead that came today, again, was from a follow-up that was deep in our database, someone who was completely unmotivated when we spoke to them. I think the lead is over a year old. And I got to tell you, it's a really, 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 really good lead. And this isn't just me. It's a lot of my private clients. Every time I talk about this, I say there's $250,000 sitting in your database right now. Okay. And if you listen to what I'm telling you, if you take this seriously, your competition is not doing the same thing that I'm telling you to do right now. They're operating on feeling, and they work when they feel like it, and they don't have a system, and they don't take the time to really dial in their follow-up system, especially with that automatic texting. And I'm talking on the database. I mean, there's so much money there. And the system for cold calling, or I want to say cold calling, but following up on leads who had no interest in doing business before, but for whatever reason, their circumstances have changed. And I got to tell you, if you do what I'm telling you to do 3 or 4 times a year, maybe even more than that, you're going to nail a deal that is going to be $30,000 profit, $40,000 profit, $60,000 profit, maybe even 6 figures, right? We got a really promising one right now. And I got to tell you, this is not like a fluke, right? It happens to us many times a year, many, many times a year. I'd say probably every other month. So my recommendation to you, take your follow-up really, really serious. That's where all the money is, right? 20% of your deals are people who are motivated right now. The other 80% are people who need time. And so make sure you are the person that they call, right? Or make sure you're the person calling them, better yet, when they need help. Because when people need help, we offer something that is amazing, that gives people peace of mind, that helps people move on to the next phase of their life. And so you deserve to be well compensated for that. Don't let somebody else step in your shoes. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you follow up like a maniac. And with that being said, I hope you got a big, fat 5-figure, maybe even a 6-figure check attached to that. I'll talk to you soon.